Fire swallows the skyline as KongZilla steps into view, and the whole city realizes the nightmare has begun. High above the burning towers, Titan Dragon Draknor circles like a living comet, choosing the perfect moment to strike. KongZilla's roar shakes broken windows from their frames, daring Titan Dragon Draknor to come down and face him. With a streak of blazing light, Titan Dragon Draknor dives from the clouds, turning night into a tunnel of fire. KongZilla raises his massive arms against the inferno, refusing to kneel even as the city melts around him. Flames paint the ruins orange, but through the smoke, the silhouette of KongZilla still stands, defying the dragon above. Titan Dragon Draknor's wings blot out what's left of the sky, a fiery shadow hunting one single giant on the ground. KongZilla seizes a twisted tower of steel, transforming human architecture into a weapon aimed at a god of fire. Metal meets scale with a shower of sparks, when KongZilla's swing finally connects with Titan Dragon Draknor's armored side. The impact sends a shockwave across the rooftops, proving that even dragons can be shaken when KongZilla decides to fight back. Over the boiling ocean, Titan Dragon Draknor turns the waves into steam, trying to keep KongZilla at a distance. But KongZilla wades forward through the scalding water, every step a promise that no element can stop him now. When they meet on the shattered bridge, beast and dragon twist together, dragging concrete and steel down into the river. The city listens in terror as Titan Dragon Draknor lands atop a skyscraper, claiming the ruins as his flaming throne. Far below, KongZilla begins to climb, each handhold ripping away pieces of the building on his way to his burning rival. Titan Dragon Draknor exhales a river of fire down the glass facade, but KongZilla keeps climbing through the blaze. At the top, steel, scale, and stone collide as KongZilla tackles Titan Dragon Draknor from his perch in the sky. The two titans crash through floors and offices, reducing human achievement to dust in the span of a heartbeat. Outside, flames spill from shattered windows as the tower groans under the weight of KongZilla and Titan Dragon Draknor. When the skyscraper finally falls, it does so as a silent witness to a war far greater than the world that built it. Titan Dragon Draknor erupts from the cloud of debris first, wings beating ash into a dark, spiraling storm. KongZilla bursts out an instant later, still roaring, his fur scorched, but his spirit unbroken by fire or fall. The storm, above them, answers Titan Dragon Draknor's flames with lightning, as if the sky itself has joined the fight. Below, KongZilla leaps from rooftop to rooftop, chasing the burning streak that is Titan Dragon Draknor through the night. Every time Dragon Draknor dives, the city loses another streak, another building, another piece of itself to his fire. Every time KongZilla swings, another monument falls, crushed beneath the weight of his unstoppable fury. From the ruined stadium, bright flames rain like meteors as Titan Dragon Draknor turns the arena into his personal volcano. KongZilla steps onto the field like a gladiator summoned from the earth, answering fire with a roar that rattles the empty seats. When Dragon Draknor wraps his wings around KongZilla, it's like the city itself is closing in to crush its last defender. But KongZilla tears through those burning wings with raw strength, proving that no cage of flame can hold him. High above the cratered streets, Titan Dragon Draknor inhales the burning city into his chest, preparing a single devastating blast. Down below, KongZilla braces for impact, the glow of Draknor's throat reflecting in the fury of his eyes. The fire beam that follows carves a molten scar across the city, erasing blocks of history in seconds. Inside that river of flame, KongZilla staggers, burns, and roars, refusing to be reduced to ash. With each step he takes against the current of fire, the beam weakens, and Titan Dragon Draknor's confidence begins to crack. When KongZilla finally bursts out of the blaze, he is transformed into a walking furnace of rage and survival. Titan Dragon Draknor recoils for the first time, tasting something unfamiliar on the air, the scorch of his own fear. KongZilla answers by charging, his heavy steps pounding a rhythm of judgment into the collapsing streets. The dragon's tail whips out, smashing buildings as it tries to keep the unstoppable gorilla at bay. KongZilla grabs that tail and yanks, dragging Titan Dragon Draknor from the sky and slamming him into the earth that still remembers stone. On the riverbank, Titan Dragon Draknor claws furiously at the mud, turning the shoreline into bubbling molten glass. KongZilla crashes into him again, fists meeting scales with the sound of mountains colliding. The water behind them erupts as burning ships sink, swallowed whole by the chaos of their battle. Each collision between KongZilla and Titan Dragon Draknor sends ripples across the surface, as if the river itself is gasping. Farther inland, the dam trembles as Dragon Draknor's fire chews at its concrete heart. KongZilla races along the top of the dam, the roaring water on one side and the roaring dragon on the other. When flames and fists collide atop that narrow edge, the dam finally breaks, unleashing a flood into the burning city below. KongZilla and Titan Dragon Draknor fight on as the torrent crashes around them, uncaring that their war has drowned yet another part of the world. Amid the chaos, the giant gorilla uses the rushing water to launch himself, turning the collapsing structure into a springboard. He slams into Titan Dragon Draknor with such force that for a moment, even the dragon's flames go dark. In the heart of a ruined district, Titan Dragon Draknor coils around KongZilla like a living serpent of fire and fury. The pressure of each tightening loop threatens to crush even KongZilla's titanic bones. Flames lick inches from his face as Dragon Draknor breathes sparks and venom into his snarling jaws. KongZilla roars back, not in fear, but in rejection of the very idea of surrender. With one colossal heave, he pries a gap into the fiery coil and tears it open, scattering burning scales across the rubble. Titan Dragon Draknor screeches as pieces of his once perfect armor clatter to the broken concrete below. For a heartbeat, the dragon looks less like an invincible god and more like a wounded beast cornered by an unyielding opponent. KongZilla, chest-heaving, stands in the burning street like the last wall between the world and annihilation. Yet even now, Titan Dragon Draknor refuses to flee, his eyes glowing brighter than the fires he commands. The two titans stare each other down across a boulevard of broken glass and twisted steel, a battlefield no human army could ever survive. Above the cathedral's collapsing roof, Titan Dragon Draknor stakes his claim, turning its spire into a torch against the night. Beneath him, the stained glass melts and runs like tears for a world that can no longer save itself. KongZilla marches toward that burning monument, each step grinding shattered stone and history beneath his feet. A single swing of his arm sends a massive bell hurtling through the flames toward the dragon on high. The bell crashes into Dragon Draknor's chest, ringing out one final broken note as it falls away, glowing red. Toppled from his flaming perch, Titan Dragon Draknor meets KongZilla on the ground once more, wings flaring with sparks. Roaring in unison, they charge, turning the courtyard into a whirlwind of fists, claws, and fire. Every strike scatters relics and rubble alike, as if the past is being erased to make room for their war. When the dust settles for a moment, KongZilla stands amid the ruins of faith, still refusing to kneel to any power. Titan Dragon Draknor rises opposite him, blood-hot fire still leaking from his jaws, unwilling to be anything less than a god of destruction. On the cracked stadium floor, KongZilla claws his way up from a pool of molten concrete, glowing like a demon from the Earth's core. Titan Dragon Draknor circles above, his own wings singed by reckless maneuvers, trailing embers like fallen stars. The stadium, once a place of cheering crowds, now holds only the echoes of fire and the footfalls of giants. KongZilla raises his head and roars, claiming the arena as his battlefield and his stage for defiance. With a deafening screech, Titan Dragon Draknor dive bombs the field, the impact shattering the last of the stadium's proud walls. Roof, lights, and metal beams cascade around them as the two titans struggle for control amid the falling wreckage. KongZilla seizes a twisted scoreboard and smashes it down across Dragon Draknor's back, breaking more than just machinery. The dragon's scales crack, glowing fissures revealing the searing power struggling to stay contained inside his body. For a moment, Titan Dragon Draknor falters, his own fire burning him from within as much as it burns the world around him. Sensing this weakness, KongZilla steps forward, unwilling to let the dragon's rage consume anything more than it already has. Across the rooftops, Titan Dragon Draknor cuts through the smoke, a burning blade carving lines in the dark sky. KongZilla pursues from below, smashing through ceilings and walls in his determination to drag the dragon down. Every rooftop they touch crumbles, turning the city into a jagged maze of shattered silhouettes. A glass atrium explodes in a storm of glittering shards as Titan Dragon Draknor crashes through it under KongZilla's fists. Through that deadly rain of glass and fire, KongZilla advances, his eyes never leaving his airborne enemy. Dragon Draknor erupts from the broken structure with a burst of flame, throwing a blinding wall of fire between them. KongZilla doesn't stop. His silhouette punches straight through the blaze, fists cutting dark shapes in the glowing heat. On the other side, Titan Dragon Draknor's eyes burn with renewed fury as he gathers every last spark into his chest. This final blast will not be for buildings or streets, but solely for the Titan who refused to fall. KongZilla plants his feet, crossing his massive arms as the dragon's ultimate fire beam descends to erase him. The beam hits like a sun brought down to earth, consuming KongZilla in pure, roaring light. All around them, steel bends and stone liquefies under the relentless assault of Titan Dragon Draknor's power. Within that blinding torrent, the outline of KongZilla wavers, battered by heat no creature should survive. Yet even there, somewhere inside the white-hot core, a roar answers the flames, stubborn and steady. Step by step, against the impossible blaze, KongZilla pushes forward, turning survival into an act of defiance. Embers burst from his fur as he emerges from the heart of the fire, more myth than flesh for one terrifying moment. Across from him, Titan Dragon Draknor's breath falters, his chest dimming as the last of his power burns away. What was meant to end KongZilla instead reveals a monster that cannot be purified by any flame. The dragon's beam sputters to embers as KongZilla charges, seized by one final surge of unstoppable momentum. Together they crash through the last standing line of towers, bringing the city's final monuments down around them. At the jagged edge of the broken city, KongZilla drives Titan Dragon Draknor across the cracked earth toward a sheer burning drop. Every claw mark and footprint leading there is a testament to everything the world has already lost. Titan Dragon Draknor digs his talons in, carving glowing ruts as he fights against the push of KongZilla's rage. For a moment, both titans teeter above the abyss, held in place by nothing but their will to keep fighting. With a savage beat of his wings, Dragon Draknor drags them both back from the brink in a shower of falling rock. The ground splits in a spiderweb of fissures beneath them as they slam down again, neither willing to fall alone. KongZilla hammers his fists into the earth, sending fractures racing outward like veins of broken glass. Titan Dragon Draknor roars his fire straight into the sky, the last of his strength painting the clouds in violent orange. KongZilla roars back, a sound made of pain, exhaustion, and a refusal to let this dragon claim the world. Their voices collide in the smoky air, echoing over ruins that will remember this day long after the fires die. Circle after circle, KongZilla and Titan Dragon Draknor move through the ruins. Slower now, but no less determined. Each step they take is heavy, not just with power, but with the weight of everything their battle has broken. Ash drifts around them like black snow, settling on fur and scales, in a quiet mockery of peace. KongZilla's chest rises and falls like a great forge. Every breath a reminder that he still lives. Titan Dragon. Draknor's flames flicker weakly at the corners of his mouth, a fading echo of the inferno he once commanded. When they collide again, it is no longer with the fury of gods, but with the stubborn hearts of survivors. Their final blows land like slow thunder, each impact shaking the ground, but no longer shaping it. At last, KongZilla pins Titan Dragon Draknor to the cracked earth, one hand on the dragon's scorched chest. His raised fist trembles, not from weakness, but from the weight of the choice resting inside it. For the first time since the battle began, the city holds its breath, waiting to see if mercy exists between monsters. The light in Titan Dragon Draknor's chest flares once more, not in attack, but in a desperate fading heartbeat. KongZilla's fist hovers above the dragon's skull as their eyes meet across scorched stone and shared exhaustion. In that gaze, they see not just enemies, but reflections of their own terrible strength and stubborn will. Slowly, KongZilla lowers his arm, choosing to end the battle without ending the dragon's life. Dragon Draknor's head falls back to the ground, fire leaking from his nostrils in small, weary wisps. Around them, the ruins crackle and pop, the last flames consuming what little remains of the city they destroyed. KongZilla rises to his full height, towering over the broken dragon and the broken world in equal measure. He beats his chest once, a ragged roar of victory and warning that shakes the smoke-filled air. Behind him, Titan Dragon Draknor stirs, his wings dragging against the rubble as he slowly pulls himself up. There is no charge, no surprise attack, only a wounded dragon watching the gorilla who chose not to finish him. The camera pulls back to reveal the path carved by their war, a jagged scar of fire and shadow across the land. From one shattered horizon to the other, the trail of KongZilla and Titan Dragon Draknor cuts through what used to be a living city. Smoke rises in tall, twisting pillars, carrying the memory of their battle into a darkening sky. On one side of a vast crater, KongZilla stands alone, a solitary titan framed by collapsing towers. On the other side, Titan Dragon Draknor kneels, wings drooping, like a fallen god forced to face his limits. As dawn begins to bleed through the smoke, long shadows stretch out behind both giant silhouettes. The first light of morning catches on KongZilla's scorched fur and Draknor's cracked scales, turning their wounds into shining armor. KongZilla turns away first, stepping into the smoldering haze as if returning to whatever ancient place birthed him. Titan Dragon Draknor watches in silence, eyes burning softly as the gorilla titan disappears into the smoke. With a painful stretch, Dragon Draknor opens his wings and pushes himself back into the darkened sky. High above the ruins, Titan Dragon Draknor circles one last time, a wounded flame against the pale morning light. Far below, KongZilla pauses, lifting one massive arm in a final wordless challenge to the dragon overhead. A ragged roar falls from the sky as Dragon Draknor answers, promising that their war is not truly over. KongZilla roars back from the broken streets, his voice carrying through the ruins like thunder on bare stone. As the camera pulls away, the world shrinks, leaving only two distant shapes. One in the sky, one on the ground. The fires they raised still burn, but somewhere beyond the smoke the planet turns and survives another day. The legend of KongZilla versus Titan Dragon Draknor is written not in ink, but in scars carved into the earth. Those who find these ruins will never fully understand the horror of the battle, but they will feel it in every cracked wall. In the silence after the chaos, only one truth remains certain. The world has seen what its titans are capable of. And somewhere beyond the haze, both KongZilla and Titan Dragon Draknor are still alive, destined to cross paths in another terrifying war.